Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Fins Faithful podcast. As always, we're on live on X and on YouTube, and we are back. Unfortunately, last week I wasn't able to have my regularly scheduled show. Had some family issues I had to take care of. I was traveling and on the road, but I'm back. Happy to be back doing this show to get my mind off things and talk about some more positive news, which is the Dolphins won yesterday 35-14 versus New England Patriots. That's their third straight win. They're now 5-6 with a Thanksgiving big time prime time night game versus the Green Bay Packers, staring them out of the face. And like Tua said, this game has a lot of narratives and the chance to squash a lot of those narratives. So we'll take a look at all that. And to join me, I'm joined by a friend of the program, supposed to be on last week with me, but kind enough to rejoin me this week, Steve Malloy, host of Real Talk Fins Talk on the Fins Talk Sports Network. Steve, thanks, brother, for joining me. How you doing this evening?
Oh, man, it's a pleasure, man. I thank you for having me on. I'm doing great, man. I'm here in Houston, as you know, and weather's great here. It's been up in the upper 70s the past couple days. Cool at night. I call it cool at night in the 60s. So, it's similar to the South Florida weather where I'm originally from. So I'm enjoying it. Hopefully it stays like this. We don't get too much cold weather because I don't do well in the cold.
Yeah. I was in Georgia, and it was like in the low to mid 40s at night. I was like, man, I got to invest in a little bit more cold weather attire. But
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Anyway, so we mentioned the 35-14 win versus the Patriots. I expected this team to come in after the Rams game 5-6, but I rewatched the game. I was traveling. I heard it on the radio. I watched a little bit of the condensed version, and I will say this: one of my favorite Tua Tagovailoa games. This offense. I know a lot of people are going to say this is another winning streak for the Miami Dolphins versus bad teams, but it's not just the wins. It's some of the signs I'm seeing that are giving me hope. I'm falling for it again, that maybe this team can do some damage. I don't know if it's too late, but do some damage at the end of the season. And it's a lot to do with the evolution of this offense, which we'll get into more. But Steve, how did you feel about the game? What are some of your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed watching them play. I mean, they won again. It's always great when we see our Miami Dolphins win. I agree with you about the offense. The offense, I've said this last week on my show, Real Talk Fins Talk. This offense it has a new face. It's totally different. And to be quite frank with you, I think that this offense that Mike McDaniel has developed plays to Tua's strengths. I've always said that Tua he's a master dinking and dunking of those short passes. And I think this plays up to his strength as opposed to the first couple of years that we watched him in the Mike McDaniel offense. And so I'm really excited. I agree with you. It's definitely different, and it's more of it's more balanced. But as opposed to this past week playing against the New England Patriots, what I didn't like was they could not get the running game going. Now, and I know you mentioned this earlier before the show. Maybe it has to do with Alec Ingold, or maybe it has to do with AJ, Austin Jackson being hurt, and honestly, Terron Armstead is not 100%. He has some knee issues that he's been nursing and he's been playing with for now. So maybe that has something to do with it not getting the running game going in the last couple of weeks. I hope that's the case. But I liked the game. I thought Tua was efficient, getting the ball out there quick to his playmakers. Hey, Jalen Waddle got involved, had over 145 yards and seven or eight catches. Achane is a problem. Achane is going to be a problem for teams. Not only is he good in running and finding little seams and bursting, because he doesn't need a lot of blocking room. He doesn't. Very shifty, and he sees a hole. And he's got some power to him for his size. And not only that, but his route running has improved a lot. He's going out and for passes and catching balls, and so he's going to be a nightmare for opposing defenses. But yeah, I was real happy with the way they played and what McDaniel has incorporated this year with the offense.
Yeah, and I agree with you about Achane. I think he also, for his size, for about 190 pounds, runs with great balance and runs up the whole. I didn't expect him. I saw some signs of it coming out that I thought he was going to run with a little more power and be able to run in between the tackles in the pros, and it's translated. Right. And this new offense that you mentioned, and I'm going to talk about that now. He's now with a lot of him and Jonnu Smith have unlocked this thing with this underneath short passing game. He's even more involved, so he's even more of a weapon. I think he's maybe weapon-wise. I mean, you look at Tyreek this year, Achane might be our most dynamic weapon this season. I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, this season for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. He's a very dynamic player. If you like I said, he's going to be a problem for a nightmare for opposing defenses now that he's getting even more involved in the receiving and he's running nice crisp routes, and with his speed, think about that. That's a defensive coordinator nightmare. You got Achane coming out of the backfield. He can either run or catch, and he's got 4.2 speed, right? Then you got Tyreek and you got Waddle, and Jonnu Smith is no schmuck either. He's pretty quick running, fast tight end as well, and good route runner. He's grasping on to the system, as Mike McDaniel has mentioned. He's grasping onto the system and catching on to it quickly. So he's just a great security blanket for Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah. And I want to talk more about what you said, the evolution of this offense. It's completely different, Steve. And I'll go back to I keep going back to the whole Florida Panthers comparison because it reminded me so much of it when they were the big team with all the high scoring points. But in the end, it was empty calories because when you got to the time where the style of play we needed at the end of the season in the playoffs, it didn't work. Teams had the medicine. Teams had to stop for it. And I think this offense was always that fastball offense, and they never developed a changeup when teams are teeing off on the fastball. And for some reason, the end of last year, this year, in the beginning of this year, they didn't want to change. They wanted to keep forcing it. It wasn't working. Finally, I don't know if it's Tua getting that last concussion where Mike McDaniel finally realizes for Tua's health's sake, we can't do that anymore. Or if it's Tua sitting on the sidelines looking and saying, watching these other quarterbacks play and watching all these teams play the too high and the shell coverage, that this is not working. And as you mentioned, now they're playing a style of ball control offense. I read somebody said 48 possessions since Tua's come back. 3 out of those 48 possessions, three possessions of 3 and out. I mean, that's crazy. He's been great on third downs.
Yep.
He's been like a point guard, like a Steve Nash. He's seeing things so quick because these routes are not dynamic. It's his strength. This underneath stuff, he's seeing it so quick and putting the ball with elite accuracy. I mean, I saw a picture today from Travis Wingfield where there was like the balls were right next to the fingertips of the defender. He's putting in these holes that are very tiny. He's where he's living right now is his best place. And that's his home. That's the home I thought. It might not be Tyreek's 2,000 yards. It might not be, 500 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Guys, that was all, had no substance to it. This offense is also weatherproof. I think the cold weather stuff's a little overrated. I think the wind affects him more than cold. This type of offense, it can play in Green Bay or Buffalo or Baltimore. This is what I was waiting for Mike McDaniel to do. And I know I might be falling. I know I've said I'm vaccinated from the hopium. Okay, I said it, and I know it was a couple bad teams they won, but it's not really the wins or the score. It's the signs that I'm seeing that they're finally understanding you had to develop a curveball, and here it comes. And also, what's going to happen, Steve, is these teams are going to start backing off the too high stuff now, and it even happened on Jalen Waddle long that play he had downfield. Patriots running single high. They backed off the too high. So now teams are going to counter that, and you got to play chess, and you got to recounter. And I'm more confident. I like McDaniel's play calling. This Thursday night game here, they win this game. They put the NFL on notice. And now we'll be talking about, okay, I'm not saying this is a Super Bowl team. I still don't believe that, okay? But a team that if they back into the playoffs, you're not going to want to face on the first round. And I don't know how you feel about that, but do you see the signs that I'm seeing? I know it's bad teams, but are you more encouraged than these other kind of win streaks the Dolphins have had versus some of the bad teams? I guess is my question.
Yeah, I am encouraged. Like I said, I'm encouraged. I like the more balanced attack, with the exception of last week.
Yeah.
And the Patriots did shut down the running game pretty much, and in the week before, but Tua's taking advantage of the short passes, right? The short, quick passes, and he's allowing the playmakers to do what they do, right? And he's just taking what the defense is giving him. That's what he's doing. And the only thing that I have a concern with, okay, and I know a lot of folks may not agree with me with this, is the O-line. Our O-line is not that good. It really isn't. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out Thursday. We're going to find out Thursday night how good this O-line is, because the Packers – the Packers have a pretty decent defense and passing defense. Their defensive backfield is not bad at all, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be tested. This O-line is going to be tested, and we'll see. We're definitely going to see what happens. That's my only concern. Is the only way that we're going to go farther and to beat these good teams, right? Because we're going to face some top 10 defenses. And the only way we're going to do that is if our O-line is playing, number one, they've got to be healthy. Number two, they're going to have to be playing really, really good against these opposing defenses. That's the only way you're going to get this running game back on track, right? This is the only way you're going to get Tua. Now, Tua's throwing the ball at 1.9 seconds.
Crazy.
You know, and the reason being is because of the O-line. Thank God we have a quarterback that has a quick release, okay? Because it really isn't. It's ideal now, but going into December, as you said, playing these better teams and playoff caliber teams, they're not going to give you that as easy as these, the last few games we played against these under 500 and 500 teams.
Yeah. And
that's my only concern.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. My concern would be they got to get the running game on back game.
Yeah.
Kind of going too. I know it's been kind of covered up with the success on third down has been incredible with Tua since he came back. And I know it's kind of been covered up with some of the screens and the stuff in the flat, the A-chain, and the short stuff to kind of Jonah, who's kind of been an extension of the running game. But they need to get it back. And like you mentioned that we talked about backstage is, I don't know if Ingo's fully healthy. I mean, he makes a big difference.
Yes.
And the injuries on the O-line, Austin Jackson. Isaiah Wynn's coming is been activated. I still don't think they put him in for Rob Jones. I think Rob Jones is, even though he started off rough this year, he's probably better run blocker than Wynn. Wynn's probably better in the passing game. But I don't think 100%. They need help in the pass blocking. They're getting the ball out so quick. Tua's seeing things so quick. They're in an incredible rhythm. Right now, they need to keep the guys who are better run blocking. Now, down the road, I don't know. But right now, I don't see with Lester Cotton being released, I think he fills that role as the swing guard. Kind of can play anywhere, Isaiah Wynn, on the offensive line. And also, I'm torn because I say I want less Mostert, more Wright, but sometimes you gotta go back to the well Raheem Mostert because he does kind of jumpstart the running game when it's been lacking. So maybe a little more Raheem Mostert. I don't know how you feel about that. I know Jalen Wright had a good game last week. They didn't run the ball well, but he had 7 for 28. I thought he had some positive plays. How do you like the rotation in the backfield right now? Would you make any changes? Obviously, A-Chain, the main guy, the horse, but kind of the 2 and 3. How do you kind of work that? Because I go back and forth on it, man. I'll be honest.
Yeah. No, I got mixed emotions about that too. Mostert has good vision. He's got a little power to him. And he can find those creases, when there's not a lot of blocking as well, the same as A-Chan.
Right.
Where Wright is got a lot of speed, but he's kind of a one-cut guy. That's it. He doesn't have that shiftiness that A-Chan or Mostert has.
Yeah.
And he's got the power. So I think what you got to do is you just got to find, what's cooking for any particular game. If A-Chan's doing well, then you keep feeding him the ball, but you got to throw in, you got to throw in Mostert, you got to throw in Wright. Maybe you give him equal share, maybe you give Wright, 7 or 8 carries, you give Mostert 7 or 8, and you give A-Chan 15, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to, as long as Mostert is healthy, and the only thing that the drawback with Mostert is he has a lot of fumbles. He's got like 6 fumbles in 17 games. That's not good. So that's why I say you gotta put him in there, get him involved, and to switch him out with A-Chan and give A-Chan a rest because, as you said, he's a small guy. I don't know how much pounding he's going to take here in December and January against these more physical defenses and things like that. So we just got to wait and see. This is the game. Yeah, will it change the narrative if we win? Sure. But what it won't change is can we be consistent in doing that? Can we beat the San Francisco? Can we beat the Browns in their house on another cold, wintry day, night game? Can we beat the Houston Texans here, right, in their stadium? So that's the key. If we beat Green Bay, I will be happy. I will be elated. It will definitely give me another shot in the arm of that hopium. And I'll be on board. I mean, it's not that I'm not on board, but I will be on board in believing that they will do more than what I thought they were going to do 3-4 weeks back. They'll get me really believing again that, well, maybe not this year, but maybe next year, maybe we're on to something, maybe we can perfect it, for next year and, make some changes there.
How many times have we said that though?
We said it a lot of times, man. But you know what, dude? That's what we do. That's what Dolph fans do, right?
We as much as I say I'm done, I'm done with the hope. Don't sell me the hopium. They do anything positive, and I'm back and ready to go. And believe me,
brother.
But again, I'm encouraged with this because this hasn't.
Yes,
we haven't done this under Mike McDaniel. We haven't had this kind of change. This is kind of the change I've been waiting for. That's why I wanted him to go out this past off season and kind of with more of this ball control offense, go get a Derrick Henry type back. You know what I mean? To add another element in the backfield. And I thought it was interesting when Mike McDaniel on that mic'd up, he said they had talked about this offseason. I don't know if anybody caught that little nugget about having more sustained, longer drives. And that's what they're doing. And that's the key here. And it's funny. This Packers game, Steve, has all these. It's like a loaded narrative-based game. You have the cold weather, the good team, Love versus Tua, 2020 draft. Thursday night, where things usually go bad for Tua. This game, and like Tua said, and I kind of like his attitude. You know, Tua's angry at the world. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder, but that's okay if he plays well. He's like, bring on the narratives. I'm ready to, I'm ready to kill him. So it's one game, but I think it will tell us a lot, Steve. I mean, consistency we'll never know. But
yeah.
And I do, you know what gives me a little hope too? Even though we lost to Buffalo, I kind of saw the work against Buffalo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what, we'll make our predictions at the end. But I got a good feeling.
Oh boy, here we go.
They're doing it again to me. They're doing it again. Shout out to everybody.
Not gonna do it. Dude,
shout out to
they're not gonna do it to me.
1896 Vice, my boy Kenny, Luna Moon Mia. Thank you for being in the chat, guys. If you're watching on X, come on over, join the chat. Come on over to YouTube, and please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel to help support the channel. And we're gonna talk about Chop Robinson here. And speaking of Chop Robinson, the number one fan of Chop Robinson is in the house. Your boy, our boy Bobby Finstock. Bobby, what's up? So let's jump to Chop because,
sure,
I got to eat a little crow on Chop. And again, we talked this all backstage. I did my draft board. I had Chop as my 31st player, so he was a first round grade for me. It's not like I saw the talent, I saw the upside, the traits, the get off, but it didn't translate the pressure rate. It didn't translate into production. And then we start the season, first 5-6 games, again, it didn't translate. So I was getting worried. Bobby would say, hold on. So now it seems like after he got that first sack, he's playing with such tremendous confidence. His timing is right. Just, I know you don't share. I know you're a little more cautious saying, hold on, Steve. But, man, it's good to see Chop. I'm glad to eat some crow here on Chop a little bit, even though it's still early in the season. It's still early in his career. But your thoughts on Chop?
Yeah. I got to eat a little crow myself. I number one, I understand the draft pick. I understand why we drafted him. We weren't sure about Jalen Phillips, and it turned out that was a good pick. And heck, we haven't even seen Chubb, so I don't even know if he'll be back this year.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure.
I didn't understand the pick at the time. But then when I thought about it, I said, well, okay, it kind of makes sense now that Jalen Phillips is out and all that. Now I don't know if I would have picked him that high, right? Yeah. And to be with you, for a pick that was picked at where he was, I thought we should start seeing more production out of him than we have. Now, is he developing? Yes, he's developing. He's come on strong the last couple, 2-3 weeks, right? Especially after, as you said, that first sack that he got. Maybe that gave him a little taste of blood, and he's like a shark now, So, but we'll see. Look, I got to go back to saying, we really do realistic. We have to see the teams he's playing against, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying is, this game, the Green Bay Packers playing against Zach Tom, who plays right tackle.
Oh, the guy we talked. I wanted him in that draft. Oh.
Yeah. So that's who Chop is going to be going against, most of the time, right? Of course, I know they probably move him around and stuff and stunts and stuff like that. But that's who he's going to be playing against. And let me tell you something. The Green Bay Packers offensive line is in the top 6. I think they're ranked 6th. They're like ranked number 2 in pass blocking. So this is going to be a great test for him. You can't go against any better offensive line than the Green Bay Packers.
And you mentioned some. Yeah, you mentioned some. Have you noticed now that he's exclusively lining up over the right tackle now? Beginning of the season, he was playing against the left tackle. He seems more comfortable on that side. Have you noticed that he's only lining up on that side?
I have,
yeah.
and he is getting more comfortable, and I think that's a smart move, right? Let him develop. Let him. let him get, learn his technique, let him make his mistakes, and we'll see, man. I have a little more hope in Chop Robinson than I did at the beginning of the season. So he's
Yeah,
shown me some signs.
yeah,
He's some flashes. Again, he's a rookie. I don't care if he's playing against a bad line or a good line. He plays against a bad line and he's making a couple sacks. So you can see he's showing flashes. He's still a rookie. So these guys, whether it's a bad line or a good line, they're still NFL players that he's playing
yeah,
against.
yeah. And it's good to
So
see. It's good
it's
to
good to
see.
see.
Yeah, it's good to see because it was. I'm glad the athletic traits and all the stuff we talked about are translating to
Mm-hmm.
production. And that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
encouraging sign. I don't care
yeah,
who is it against for them.
yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
moving over on the line, man, what a difference Zach Sealer is making. I think it's a
Oh
question now,
wow.
dude. We talked about Sealer and Wilkins last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's clear that Sealer is the one that made Wilkins the better player. It's looking like that. Uh,
Um, I think
Dude,
I think
Steelers a monster, man.
good. Yeah, he's a monster, but I still think that Wilkins is a little better on the inside than
Oh,
Zach Sealer is.
against the run?
You know, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Zach
would agree.
Zach Zach Sealer when we got him from when we picked him up from poached him, I guess, off the practice squad of the Ravens, he was playing defensive end. He's playing on the outside.
Yeah,
So we switched him into the inside, but that combination of Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer were salt and pepper, right?
yeah,
Um, look, Calais Campbell, man.
yeah.
There's another one, and I hate to get off track from Zach Sealer because Zach
No, that's
Sealer is
fine. That's
playing
fine.
he's playing very well this year.
Yeah,
But Calais Campbell, man, 40 years old almost, and here he is making plays. Now he didn't have the greatest game last week,
yeah.
but that's my concern with him is he is a little older. And is he breaking down now that it's starting to get later in the year? I don't know. We'll see again. We'll see in the next game if how he plays against the Green Bay Packers. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Zach Sealer's a monster. He's very underrated in my opinion.
Yeah, that's my boy.
No,
No.
I'm going to say no. Christian Wilkins wasn't worth that money. No.
Yeah, and for what you paying Campbell $2 million. Speaking of not to get off track, but speaking of Calais, were you surprised with the whole trade report stuff that the Dolphins even openly talked about? It seems like again they wanted to they wanted that out there that they that Campbell didn't want to leave and McDaniel nixed the trade. It tells me one thing that we had. I don't know if you were on the show when the trade deadline was coming up, but I said Chris
Yes.
Greer's not going to trade. Yeah, Chris Greer's not going to trade any of these guys because he's trying to save whatever he has left face with the organization. But it tells me that maybe Chris Greer wasn't afraid of his job, no matter what happened this year. He was coming back because you trade Calais Campbell, especially Steelers' injury at that time, at 2-6. You're pretty much punting on the season. That's how big of a impact Calais Campbell makes, not only on the field, but if you see all the videos in the locker room after the game, he's the one.
He's a good leader.
He's the leader of the team, and he's helping these young guys. Were you surprised about all that came out with the whole trade and for the 5th rounder or whatever?
Yeah, I was. I was kind of surprised about that, and I'm glad McDaniel stood up and said, "No, we're going to keep him." Because at this point in time, look at the impact he's been having on this defense. It just leadership or role alone, means a lot. So no, I was surprised. I'm glad if the rumors are correct that McDaniel stopped it. Now today, McDaniel said that they both have a consent. They both talk about it, and then he ultimately has the final say, Chris Greer. So I don't know, but yeah, I was kind of surprised about the Calais Campbell.
Yeah,
I mean, we heard before the trade deadline that maybe Calais Campbell was on the chopping block. I remember that. No pun intended, chop. But he was going to get traded. But but I didn't think that. I just thought it was rumors, right? But
Yeah.
now that it's
I
come
still,
out
yeah,
from a reputable source,
yeah.
yeah, maybe it was true.
I still don't think it was that as close as everybody says to get done. I think they had an idea by asking
Mhm.
Campbell, "Hey, do you want to stay here or do you want to go to a contender?" I think they knew he wanted to stay here. He liked it here, and that's an encouraging sign. But
Yeah,
I believe it was Omar Kelly. We missed this point about it. Is they also agreed though, um, if at the end of the season Dolphins weren't in contention, they would release Campbell. Um, so that's kind of been lost in this whole thing. If I think Campbell asked or his representative said, "Look, I want to stay here, but if we're 3 or 4 games left, we're not in it. Would you guys release me?" And apparently they said, "Yeah." So I thought that was interesting. You know?
yeah, it was interesting. But here we were talking about trading Waddle off last. What was it? 2 weeks
Oh
ago.
no!
Remember that? Here he goes and has a 145-yard game and 7 receptions, and I mean
Yeah.
he was
Well,
catching everything that was thrown to him.
it was good to see finally,
Yeah,
because
yeah, it
I don't
was.
think I think. Look, I know the teams are playing different coverage, but I think Tyreek, that injury is affecting him big time. That wrist injury. I don't know if he feels as
Yeah.
comfortable out there. I knew there was something going on there more than just teams were covering, because these guys get open, man. I mean, no matter what, Tyreek Hills, you can't cover him with 2 guys alone. But
Well, you know what's interesting, George, is you remember when he got arrested?
yeah,
What was it, the first
for,
home game of the season? I
yeah,
think it
yeah,
was.
yeah. I remember turning my TV on at 11 a.m. Like,
Yeah,
what? You
yeah,
know
you
what I
remember
mean?
that? It
Yeah,
started off kind of weird, but anyway, he did mention that he had some surgery done to his knee.
yeah. He's banged up. I mean,
So,
yeah,
maybe that has something to do with maybe he's kind of lost the beat. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, look, Father Time's always undefeated. Eventually,
Yeah.
it's going to catch up to him. But I'm
Yeah.
not ready to go there yet. But something,
No,
he's
me either.
obviously
Me
yeah,
either.
he's obviously not as productive. That's very clear. Jalen Waddle
Mhm.
was a mystery to me because he was dropping passes, but it was good. And I think part of it now, Steve, is teams are going to start coming off that. I mean, you can't just let this team keep having the ball, convert on third down. They're going to start giving it again, the deep stuff. I think you're going to start seeing a little bit of that. So it's going to be interesting to see the Dolphins counter. And I think the stuff will be there downfield for Waddle and Hill. So that's going to be an interesting kind of thing to monitor starting this Thursday, how Green Bay plays them.
Yeah.
Uh, that how they're going to adjust. Are they going to stay with the 2? Are they going to mix it up? Are they going to try to focus more on the short stuff? So that'll be interesting to
Well,
follow. But
well, I think the key, George, is the O line.
yeah,
That's the key. That's going to open up the doors for that running game again. I really think that's all it needs to happen. And AJ getting hurt. I know we talk. I've said that he's probably he's okay. He's a solid tackle, but he's missed. He's missed.
yeah,
Kendall Lamb is not playing up to his standards he played really well last year for us, but this year he's just not. I don't know what it is. He's just not playing up to standards.
yeah. Austin and AJ, obviously AJ Austin Jackson. We're talking about out for the
Yeah,
year. I think
yeah,
in the run game he's severely missed. He's athletic.
yeah,
He fits it. He
yeah.
gets out in the second level a lot better than Kendall
Hmm.
Lamb. He's
Yep.
really missed. So, but we'll see. But another guy, I kind of have to eat a little crow. I wasn't the biggest Jonnu Smith fan, but part of all this, Steve, is I didn't expect the Dolphins to transition this offense to this kind of short passing game where there's no big plays. I just didn't think McDaniel or Tua's ego would allow it to happen. But man, Jonnu Smith has been playing at a high level and has fit real nicely, especially after the catch here. He's unlocked a lot of things. He's allowed you to kind of transition. Like somebody said, he's
Hmm.
what you wanted Mike Gesicki to be, but he can actually do something after he catches the ball.
Hmm. Yeah, he definitely can. And he's probably a little better blocker than Jaceki was.
Oh yeah,
A little
every
bit,
tight
a
every
little
tight
bit.
end in the league is a
Yeah,
better block.
true. But he's definitely been a great security blanket for Tua, and he does have some speed and good and after the catch, yards after the catch, he's very good at that. And he's a tough guy. He's a tough runner when he does catch the ball and he gets those yards after the catch. I've seen him plow a couple guys, down. So he's got some power to him too. I'm really happy with the addition of John Smith. Calais Campbell was a good addition.
Hey,
I can't complain about those two
Jordan
additions.
Brooks.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, as much
And
as I know you're on the same Greer, we're both. My opinions of Chris Greer hasn't changed, but as
mhm,
much as I get on Greer, I got to admit some of the free agent signings he did this year: Campbell, Jordan Brooks, Kendall
mhm.
Fuller has been really good. Uh,
Yeah, it's been solid.
I got to give credit where credit's due, and shout out to the Dive Bar Podcast stopping in, showing some love. Thank you guys. You guys check them out. They have great content. I know Bobby over there is another Bobby. Bobby Shouts, a big John Smith guy. He's check them out.
Mhm.
Check the episode out they have with John Smith. Those guys are great over there. Check them out and follow them. As always, like and subscribe to the Fins Faithful Pod. We appreciate it. It takes a second to hit that button, that little bell or whatever, and the like and all that good stuff that you're supposed to say. It really helps us keep going. It's I know we have to repeat it, but it really helps the program. All right. Let's look forward here to this Green Bay game. Jordan Love been mediocre this season. Um, hasn't taken that next step that everybody anticipated after that
Mhm.
second half he had last year. It's been kind of
Mhm.
mediocre. Their
Mhm.
their offense is based around their running game, their offensive line, and Josh Jacobs. What a free agent
Mhm.
acquisition he's been.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, all the running backs, the big free agent running backs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Josh Jacobs have all, and I would have liked any three of those guys on the Dolphins have all made big
Yeah.
impact. But their
Did you
offense
see how many
goes,
yards? Did you see how
oh,
many yards Barkley had last night?
oh yeah, I know.
Was it
I
like
think
250 or something?
don't remind me. I was playing some of my fantasy team was playing him, so I wasn't
No.
well aware. But yeah, he's playing out of his mind. So maybe that kind of
Yeah.
everybody rethink this free agent running back. There was but to be fair, it was a pretty good group of kind of mid-20s, kind of
Mhm.
free agent running backs, but with the exception
Mhm.
of Derrick Henry. But yeah, they go
Right.
as Josh Jacob goes. Their tight end is really good. The young kid Tucker Kraft.
Kraft.
Uh,
Yep.
how do you look at that matchup there with Green Bay?
It's going to be a nightmare for our defense, man. I'm telling you, they got the number 6 offensive line in football, and
Third
as
running
much
game, third in the league in rushing yards.
third in rushing, yes, and even though Jordan Love,
Yeah,
he hasn't been playing, as well as he played last year. He's still playing good, and he distributes the ball to a lot of his receivers and running backs. He's very good at distributing that ball around. If you go and look at their stats, the Green Bay stats, he's distributed the ball around to like 9 people. And they have like 20 catches, 20, 30 catches.
yeah,
So he distributes the ball really well. The running game helps him, with Jacobs. Um, he's their main focus as far as the run game goes is Jacobs. Um, they got Reed. They got what's his name, Dobbs. They've got like you said, Kraft, Watson. They're all
yeah.
solid receivers. They're not
They don't have a
superstars.
they don't have a number one, but they got a bunch of good, really young receivers that
Really good
yeah,
young
yeah,
solid receivers. So it's not going to be easy for our defense, and this is the game where I fear this defense, our defense.
yeah,
Their offense matches up way better than our defense.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm not
that's
concerned.
that's
Yeah.
my only
Yeah, I'm not concerned with their passing.
concern.
Our secondary is pretty good. I think our back four have been not the
Are they?
safety, the cornerback play I think has been good. I know
Okay.
the Kendall
Yeah.
Fuller injury. Well, you disagree.
Jafon Holland has been missing in action all
I
year.
don't know this is last season.
Poyer has been missing, and Poyer
Oh
is
my
just
God.
a
Did
waste
you
of a
see what?
contract.
Yeah. Don't even get me started. Why we didn't bring back? I know why we didn't bring back Deshaun Elliott after his comments. Maybe he didn't want to come back here.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why we didn't bring. Yeah, the Poyer, I didn't like that signing. I wasn't indifferent about it. I wasn't like everybody was making a big deal. Jordan Poyer. Sometimes we go on the name in the past and the actual, a player on the wrong side of 30 playing a safety position, but he's gotten abused this year. I mean, in the run game too. I mean, just it wasn't a lot. Didn't Stevenson kind of,
he freaking bulldozed him, man.
Yeah.
he kicked him back about 5 feet. It was crazy.
But I'm saying more the coverage, the cornerback play. Jalen Ramsey's playing at an all-pro level.
Jalen Ramsey's playing elite. He's playing. He kind of started off slow, but he's playing elite. And now Kendall Fuller's not going to be playing this game. He's out.
Yeah, that's a concern. That's a concern.
That's very concerning because Cam Smith is not really good.
No.
He's good at he's a good man coverage.
He's good at holding.
The kind of coverage, good at holding. the kind of coverages that we play, he doesn't fit that system. I don't think.
I mean, he's getting the playing time. He's a guy I'm hoping to give time to, but it's getting concerning,
It is. But going into the game, man, like I said, I think the keys to this game for the Dolphins are in the trenches. That's where the biggest keys to this game, and that's for both sides of the ball, defense and offense. Again, we've just said the running game is excellent. They have a well-balanced attack. They got 4 or 5 receivers, that are making plays and catching the ball for them.
Yeah, that tight end.
Jordan Love, the tight end. Yeah, because look at what what's his name did with the Raiders.
How special is he, man?
He ate us up alive, man.
He is special, man. He's different.
Oh, he is. He's a superstar already.
Yeah,
for sure. So that's my concern. My concern is the I do have a concern with the defensive backs, even though I know you don't. You feel that they're adequate and good and everything.
I think they're good
Ramsey,
enough. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Ramsey makes up the difference, I guess. He
but shuts off the whole side.
Yeah, he does. And they moved him around, and I like the way they moved him around this year. He caused the interception by Walker. He caused that interception. He put pressure on May.
Yeah, that blitz. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Every time they pick 2 or 3 plays a game, they bring him off when they line. If you notice, every time they line him up on the slot, he's coming, and every time he either tips it, makes a play, creates a turnover, and they just pick. Anthony Weaver, man, I've been impressed with him this year. I really think, because I don't know if this defense is individually as talented as they're playing. I think he's maxing out their abilities here.
That's a good point.
I think we're not talking about him enough here. They don't blitz a lot, but man, when they blitz, it seems to be the right time.
Yeah, he knows when to install it. He may not be here next year. That's the problem.
Good point. Yeah. But we would get wouldn't we get a pick if that happens or something? Isn't that?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
But I still like to keep him around, man. They need to keep him. I like his style. I really do, and he's incorporating the mindset of physicality, and I like that. Being physical, and you're seeing it in some of these games. You're seeing a little bit of that physicality. Some of our
personnel, like Ogba, some of the personnel now he's able to kind of incorporate and they kind of fit better. You notice it moving off that. Even though I did like Fangio, I'm not one of those guys to rip Fangio on his way out. I like Fangio, but I've really been impressed with Weaver. But getting back to the Packers game. I'm not too concerned with the Packers passing the football in this game as much as you are. it's the running game, right? To me, if we can control that, the Dolphins have been solid against the run. You know, Walker's going to be out, right? The linebacker, I think.
Yeah,
He'll be out.
he's going to
But
be out.
the kid we just picked up from Seattle already made an
Dotson?
impact. Yeah, a lot of people were surprised. Yeah, Dotson. A lot of people were
Mhm.
surprised that he got released. So I don't know how much the difference is there. Go
He
ahead.
was a solid player with Seattle. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
he
was.
was a solid player. I think there was a uh, well, how can I say it? Something with the coach. He wasn't mentioning with the coach too well.
Right.
So that's why they let him go. He wasn't happy with the situation that he was put in there in Seattle,
Well,
so they let him go.
and we
But
benefited from it.
we benefited from it. Yeah, I think I think he's solid. I think he's going to be solid for us going forward. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think he's better than Duke Riley. you know,
Oh, for sure. For sure. For
So
sure.
and Channing Tindall.
Is he still on the team? What? Somebody explain that to me. Is he still on the team?
He is on the team. He's inactive every week.
Oh, Chris Greer.
So,
Well, he gives those draft picks a long leash, doesn't he?
yeah, he does. He does. Look how long we kept Igo for. You know, wouldn't let him go, man.
Do we got a Igo 2.0 developing in Cam Smith
And
here or
Cam
what?
Smith, maybe,
Not Cam's a
maybe.
little better than him. Cam's a little better than him, but anyways. But yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think it's about even. To be honest with you, you know, he
yeah,
has
not
a
far off.
different skill. He has a different skill set. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
he's
Than
longer.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Iggy. There was just no. There was no. You just knew it wasn't happening no matter what. At least with
Mhm.
Cam, I got some hope, but we'll see. But
Yeah.
they got. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I agree with you. Maybe we do. Maybe we have a little hope. If we're gonna have a little hope, let this be the year.
Yeah, we
Let's
got
see
to
if
see
he
what he's
can.
got. We got to see what
Got to
he's
see
got.
what he's got. Yeah,
So
for
we know
sure,
next
for sure.
what we're looking at here.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
as far as the offense for the Dolphins,
Mm-hmm.
I expect Tua Tagovailoa to have a big game. I just
Mm.
I'm not. I know you said this Green Bay defense they don't generate much pass rush. All right. I
No.
like Rashawn Gary. I think he leads their team with 4.5 sacks. They're
Yeah.
not big. They don't generate a lot of. I know maybe they put pressure, but they haven't. I'm not feared by their pass rush, and especially
Okay.
you put that on top of how quickly Tua's been getting the ball. I think you said it was at 1.9 seconds. I think
Yeah.
they're gonna. I think uh, Tua's gonna have over 275 yards passing in this game. Uh,
Well,
I'm
I
not as
would
worried
like
about.
that. I would like that, but what I like more is I want to see that scoreboard reading Miami ahead in points. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, but I think this whole thing. I think people are expecting the cold weather Tua to struggle.
Yeah.
I think if they continue
Well,
this style, I don't think it's going to
well,
happen as
well,
much.
here's the thing I'm afraid with Tua.
Okay.
He's going to have this in his head. I got to prove my point. Got to change
Yeah,
that narrative, and he's going to force a lot of stuff, and he's going to get intercepted. Because in that New England game, he was making some forced passes. He was getting away with it though, so we don't talk about that. He
well,
almost had a couple close calls there and
but
interceptions and
he's
stuff,
always.
but
But
we
he's.
don't talk about
Oh,
that.
you talking about the one in the end zone, the two in the end zone, like the one
Well,
by
it
the.
was that, and there was some other passes where
Yeah, but
they
he's
almost
always.
got swatted.
Yeah,
Yes, he has. That's what I'm
he
afraid
always
of.
does that though.
That's
He
what I'm
always.
afraid of.
But
He gets lucky, and that's why we never talk about it.
I don't know if it's luck. I think it's just the accuracy is so good, man. He sees it before. I know it's a debate,
No,
but
you might have a point. You might have a point. Yeah,
I've seen that
you got
since
a
his
good point.
rookie. Yeah, I've seen that since his rookie year. Two of the narrative changer Tagovailoa. Oh, well, we're gonna find out a lot Thursday night, aren't we? After everybody's
Yeah.
belly's full, we're gonna find out. But yeah, so I'm gonna ask you this question, right? Put you on the hot
Mm-hmm.
seat. I tell you
Okay.
right now, you could have Jordan Love or Tua Tagovailoa. And I'll ask the chat too. Who are you taking, Steve?
In this offense, in the
You switch
offense that
teams.
is presently,
Whatever, however you want to say it. You're going to build on this organization in this building. Whether you change the it's up to you. What quarterback would you rather have?
it's hard to say, man. I know it's hard to say because I like Tua. Tua's there's no doubt, and he's got some elite traits, right? But so does Jordan Love. He's younger. Oh man, it's terrible when you get old. But anyway, oh man,
it's tough, right? Because
it's tough.
I was thinking this myself because in the first thing I thought of, like you did, if I was saying if we were just switching teams, I don't think either team would do it.
Yeah, I don't think that's what I was going to say. That's good. That is precisely. Yeah, you're spot on. It's two different systems. A whole different. Honestly, I think if you put Tua Tagovailoa in the Green Bay Packers team, he'd thrive.
Yeah, actually,
I think he
would.
thrive.
The only thing would be the weather, but in the short passing, it doesn't matter as much,
Well, not only that, they've got a great line. They've got a great O-line. Can you imagine if Tua had this O-line that the Green Bay Packers had?
Zach Tom, a right tackle. Who's that? They got the young kid. They got Jenkins. Is it Elon?
Jenkins, yeah.
Yeah, Jenkins.
Josh
Walker. Myers. Walker, the 7th round pick.
Yeah.
Playing left tackle. He's a heck of a left tackle.
Yeah. Didn't he make who was the one that made All Pro in 2022? He made it in 20 and 22. Was that Jenkins? Am I thinking of Jenkins?
They're both. I know Myers and Jenkins. I think were 2nd round picks for them.
Yeah. One of them made All Pro twice. One of them made All Pro twice.
I have to look that
but
up,
anyway, but the question, going back to your question, I think Tua would thrive in the Green Bay Packers offense. I also Love in the offense that McDaniel runs. I don't know if Love would thrive in that offense, to be honest.
Yeah, he's
especially
not,
with his O-line.
He's not. Yeah, that's the thing. I think you'd almost have to change the offense because Love is not an accurate, quick decision maker. He's more of an off script, kind of those hard throws. If you look at the on ESPN, they have what's the percentage of this throw being completed? Kind of Jordan Love kind of does that kind of stuff. So you have to change it. An interesting question would be like around the league, GMs. It's really hard because it's all based on what kind of system you're running and the personnel you have. Because
absolutely,
it is tough, But that question just came up to me because I was kind of thinking about it. But I think for the Dolphins, look, whatever you think of Tua for this offense, for this team, there's probably not a better quarterback that can run it in the league. So, I mean, would you agree with that?
For this, 100%. He's the most efficient, operator for this offense for sure. He's the point man.
He's playing elite, efficient football. I mean, at an elite level.
Yeah, that's fair. He's playing at an elite level right now. Yeah, for sure.
Now, will it continue? Only time will tell. So
that's what I want to see. I want to see more consistency. And everybody says, "Oh, Tua can't go off script." Yes, he can go off script. He's gone off script in college. He's gone off script this first 4 or 5 years. He's always done that. We haven't seen anything special anything more special, right? It's just the same Tua. It's just that he did it 2 or 3 times in one game where we're used to seeing him doing it maybe one time, So is he all of a sudden gonna turn around and start scooting out of and running and all that kind of stuff? No, he's not going to. Number one, the organization is probably that's going to be a no for him with his concussions and things like that. I know a lot of folks will say, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I said it last year. I said he's going to get another concussion, and I just had that feeling. Once you have a concussion, I've had 4 of them. And once you have a concussion, you're going to get another one. There's no doubt about it. Under the right circumstances, you're going to get another one. And so, we don't want to see him going out and going off script. being fluid in the pocket, yes, I love that. That's wonderful if he can do that once or twice,
Yeah.
a game or whatever. That's perfect.
Pick
But
his spots.
pick his spots, and he's gonna have to do it eventually this year, right? Going into December, playing these playoff caliber teams, he's gonna have to do some more off script type of stuff, man. There's no question about it. He's gonna have to.
Yeah, and like you said, with Tua, the biggest question is always going to be, no matter how he's good is he playing, is when is that next concussion happen or that next injury happen that derails the season? That's why for me, no matter what happens, quarterback Tua is the number one kind of priority this offseason. And I would draft one high. I don't think they'll do it in the first round, but it's because you look at the contract that Tua has, you can't afford a $15 million backup quarterback.
No.
Get another young guy that you like in the draft, whether it's the second or third round, and do it again the next year if it's the third round again. Find somebody who fits this system, fits what Mike McDaniel likes. Too bad they didn't take Purdy instead of Skylar Thompson. But, oh, my gosh. Let's talk about for the second time they bring Skylar Thompson in. You got to bring how embarrassing is it to bring your backup quarterback in? You're blowing a team out. Didn't this happen before with Skylar? You have to bring your starter back in. Come on. Speaking of that, would you give Daniel Jones a call?
No.
I mean, he's better than Skylar, isn't he?
Yeah, he's better than Skylar, but at what cost, right? And for how long, right? He's got. I mean, I know. The Giants are obligated to pay him, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you think he would fit in this system? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think he would fit in the system that we presently run?
The problem with this system, it's so hard. It's so specific to a skill set, man. There's not a lot of quarterbacks I think that can do it.
Yeah, and it would go back to what you said, George.
Yeah.
Go back to what you said. We have to change the whole offense. Are we going to change the whole offense for a backup? You know what I mean?
But is he better than Skylar? And he does have experience.
I don't. It's hard to say because we've been talking about systems, right? Offensive system. I don't think he would fit the system even as a backup, even though he's better than Skylar. I don't know if he would fit this system, the way that we run this system. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good. It's not like somebody I'd be real excited about either way, but I think it's worth a flyer to get him in the building. But I think he'll end up going to like Baltimore or Minnesota or something like that. I read something.
I
don't think he's come here anyways.
Yeah, he already stated he wants to go to a competitor, someone that's already like the top, fifth seed or something already.
They're guaranteed they're going to get in.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do for the rest of the duration of this year.
Yeah, I guess closing the topic on Tua, I know you said it's the same Tua, but I really think Tua's seeing defenses now much better. I just think I just think. I don't know. It's every time he gets injured. You know what I mean?
Well, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. He probably is seeing defenses a little better because he's in his fifth year. Right. So yeah, he's made significant improvements on that because he's in his fifth year and he should be seeing defenses the way that he's playing. That's why I say it's nothing special. He's always had the good. He's been a master of the dink and dunk, even with the Flores offense.
Yeah, this is a lot closer to the Flores offense, but
exactly
better weapons.
Better weapons. Yes.
Better.
Who did Flores have?
More creative play calling, though.
Yes, of course, 100%, 100%. So that's why he flourishes in this offense the way that he has. And he's in his fifth year. So there should be improvement in his fifth year. There should be improvement next year and the next year after that. Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, a lot of folks get the wrong impression that I don't like Tua. Not on this show, because maybe the folks on here don't know me too well, but on my show, Real Talk Finns Talk, I've been a big critic of Tua. I still don't think he's going to be the guy that's going to take us to the promised land. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Right. He could change my narrative completely.
It can all change.
It can all change. And I hope it does. I hope it does. You know,
I mean, we've been fans for so long. You can change your opinion. Opinions can change based on what happens. You know what I mean?
absolutely,
I'm not paid by
absolutely.
anybody to be right all the time. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah, I don't
no.
mind to be wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially in this case with our Miami Dolphins. You know, I've been a
you,
fan since 1969, dude.
I give anybody credit to try to figure this team out in this organization or what's coming next, because
Yeah,
no telling, right? Look,
absolutely.
I'm not surprised this team was. I predicted this team would get to 5-6. Like I said, I'm just encouraged by some of
Yeah.
the signs, the
No,
way
me
we're doing
too.
it.
Me
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
me
way we're
too. I
doing it.
said I knew we were going to probably beat New England. I knew we were
Yeah,
going to beat the Raiders. Now the show, the showstopper for me right now is this game coming up. You know,
yeah.
this is the one that's it's gonna change. As Tua said, he wants to change the narratives. Well, Tua, show me the money. Show me the money.
That's what's fun about this game. It's going to answer a lot of
Yeah,
questions. It won't answer the
yeah,
consistency, how long it'll last, but it will answer some of the
right.
questions.
Absolutely. And I go back to what you said, George. And if I'm getting to be rambling too much, you just
No,
cut me
you're
off.
good.
Let me know because I can start ranting and go
You're
on and
good.
on and on.
Go for it.
But as you said, George, this is going to be a telltale game for the Miami Dolphins. Not just Tua, but the whole team.
The whole team, the
Defense,
coaching staff, everything.
offense, the coaching, everything. You know, in a nutshell, it's going to be a very telling sign, good or bad, in where we go next year as well. So,
Yeah,
and where we
I
go on
couldn't.
from here.
Yeah, I mean, if they lose this game, they're not completely out of the playoffs, even so. But
No.
it kind of you wouldn't be as confident as them going forward to be able to beat. I mean, depends how they lose. They lose a close game, but especially if
Exactly.
they get blown
Content.
out, and yeah, the
Yeah.
contents of the game will
Context
tell
is
you
everything. Yeah.
what we're looking at going forward, at least
Yeah.
to the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Even though I will say
Absolutely.
this about Green Bay, I don't think they're playing as good as their 8-3 record is.
Mm-mm.
I don't see them as this super team, or they're not up there with Detroit and all those teams, or maybe even Minnesota. In the NFC, I think they're a tier down. I think they haven't
Yeah.
really played up to 8-3. But the one thing I would like to
Yeah,
see,
they're second tier.
yeah,
They're second tier. Miami's probably in the top three, I mean 3 tier.
yeah,
But here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this, and maybe some folks you're not gonna agree with me. Miami's playing better than their record.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, look, if Tua didn't get injured, I think this. What are they? We're what are we? 5-6.
5-6.
What do you say we're with Tua? We get a couple more wins.
Well, I would say we could be 7-4, 8-3 even. Well, let's
Yeah.
see.
Now,
He lost 3, right? So 7-4, I would
but I
say.
will say though, uh, they would have still had done this evolution on the offense to be that, because I
I
mean, it
agree.
wasn't working
I
in
agree.
those first couple games. They weren't doing this, and it wasn't working. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
So I do
Mm-mm.
think the injury to him, taking a step back, realizing I had another one, and as much as he
Mhm.
says it's no big deal, he knows it's another concussion under his belt. And he probably watched from afar. McDaniel saw without the quarterback play what the running game was doing and how
Yeah.
successful it was and how much it would work and change the way teams are playing. I think it was somewhat of a positive. So even though they would have been,
Yeah.
I think you're right, 7-4-ish, maybe 8-3, they still would have had to make this kind of evolution to get there. Because you remember the first couple of games with Tua, the offense wasn't great, So
Mm-mm.
the style change really helped. And the last thing I want to see Tua do, and the only is kind of finish these games, these big games, instead of losing to Buffalo 27, whatever they lost to 30, to win them, finish them, kind of when it's on the line, those kind of, because that kind of, to me in college too, when he was playing the Burrows, he was kind of outdo, he kind of wouldn't, he kind of, those quarterbacks who kind of do just enough to beat that team, he kind of have, do enough, but not quite enough to beat it, to be a close score, but he wouldn't finish them. Some stuff in college too against those big time teams. I noticed that. So that's what I would want Tua to kind of to show me next. I guess we've been going on for an hour and 4 minutes. Let's end the show with some prediction time. Steve,
All
I'll
right.
start with you. Give me the score.
Woo!
Give me the prediction for this Thanksgiving narrative killer game.
Man, I hope
Are we
I'm
killing
wrong.
narratives? Are we killing narratives, Steve?
No,
Oh,
we're not killing narratives. I say 30-24. Green Bay wins this game. Like I said, Tua, McDaniel, Miami Dolphins organizations, show me the money. Until they change that narrative, I'm going to have to go by past history. 30-24 Green Bay.
okay. All right, Steve. This might surprise you here. I like the Dolphins in this game. I like Tua to kill some of those narratives. I just like the feeling around this team. And if we come back on and we lose 27-12, and I bought into it again, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I think Tua has a big game. I told you over 275 yards. I think they win this 27-20 in Green Bay. And we're talking about, and the league is talking about this team. And we'll be 6-6, and we'll have a shot. And now, are they a Super Bowl team? No. But I don't think Green Bay is playing as well as the 8-3 record.
I agree.
I just, it's a feeling, all right? It doesn't make sense, but it's a feeling I have, and that means I'm probably wrong, and we'll probably lose, 27-10, and Tua has an awful game, and we're starting this whole thing again. The whole I fell for it again, but if they stick with the game plan, they stick with what they're doing. I think they have enough to beat this team 27-20, Miami Dolphins, and we're happy on full stomachs on Thanksgiving, 8 p.m. With the victory. What do you think about that?
Can I tell you a little secret?
Go for it.
I have a good feeling about this game too, to be honest with you.
Oh, you do?
I really do.
I mean, you had it 30-24. I mean, if they lose 30-24, it's not a bad.
Yeah, but I have a good feeling. I really do. But
I knew there was
my homer in me, my Dolphin fan of 50-something years in me is saying we're going to win this game. But I'm not. I just don't believe it until it happens, till I see it. So I hope they change that narrative, man. I really do. And
Kenny agrees with me.
Huh?
Kenny agrees with me. We're not losing. We're back.
I hope so, brother. I hope so. I really do. I
agree,
don't want to sound like Debbie Downer, or anything like that. I'm a diehard Dolphin fan, and I want them to win, but I'm just not going to buy into it, man. I bought into the hype. I bought into the hype train. I've hopped on that train so many times and got let down that I just don't want to get. It's not a good feeling to get punched in the face, man. Those times. It's just not.
And I'm the first one who said this season they're not giving me hope. I'm vaccinated from the hopium, but I'm just encouraged by the style change. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming, Steve.
Me either.
That's what the change is. I didn't see that coming.
That's and I like the change, and we've been talking about it this whole time. I like the change, but the only thing that the weak link with this change is going to be that O-line, and I think we're going to see it in this Green Bay game.
Fair
if
enough.
we don't see it, I'll be very surprised.
But regardless, it's going to be fun to have this game on Thanksgiving after you with family, have all the food. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm glad to be back, Steve. I'm glad you joined me.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
I always have a great time with you. Before we get out of here, Steve, tell them about your show. You got tomorrow night. You got a show. Is it tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow night.
All right, so tell everybody about it.
Sure. Every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Real Talk, Fins Talk on the Fins Talk Sports Network. But tomorrow night I will be starting a little later. I'll be starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I won't be able to make the 7 o'clock show tomorrow, but any other time after tomorrow, it's normally at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Fins Talk Sports Network. Real Talk, Fins Talk. I'm solo. Sometimes I have guests on. In fact, I'm going to invite George here
Yes, sir.
sooner than later on my show, so we can shoot the breeze and talk about our beloved Miami Dolphins. And hopefully, the next time George and I talk, we do have a win.
Yeah.
And that narrative has changed.
I'm coming on, you know that, so look out for that. Guys, again, thank you everybody in the chat. Mia, the dive bar who came in, Bobby Finstock, Kenny, thank you so much. Everybody, like and subscribe to this channel, but also over there where Steve's at the Finstock Sports Network. Also, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, have a happy, healthy, safe Thanksgiving. Hopefully the Dolphins get a win to end it on a positive note. Guys, as always,
Dolphins
guys,
number one.
Let's go. Stay Fins faithful. We're out.